definitely shorter.
Some movie was it? We're walking.
We're walking, 1902, and we're live.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Parks and Recs Commission meeting on April 4th, 2022, and the time is 7:00. Okay. We'll start with roll call. Beth Ashcroft present. Carolyn Marks present. Brett Heindel.
Present.
Libby Cudmore. Not present. Trevor Huntsman.
Present.
Councilmember Katie LaParrie-Shu.
I'm here.
And Parks Administrator Lou Lansing. I'm here as well. Okay. All right, we have a guest tonight,
Hello.
Chris
Yakabuchi.
Yes.
So Lou asked me to come and have a little conversation with you about the projects that we're doing in Neowa. And the first handout I have for you is the one that is not colored. It's the electrical plan for phase 2 electric. This is for adding outlets in Neowa for food trucks and other uses. The contractor that was the lowest bid was J&A Electric Construction. We're currently reviewing submittals for the project, and they anticipate to start work mid-April. And the project should be completed by mid-June. That's the goal. Anyone have any questions on that project?
I do.
No, go right ahead.
Jump in.
No, go right ahead. Yes.
So I'm noticing that these are all labeled like post. Are they gonna be physically like posts that stick out of the ground?
Yes,
Okay,
there'll be 4x4 posts with outlets on them.
okay,
We actually installed phase 1 back in November.
Yeah.
Very similar, they're already there,
Cool.
yeah.
Gonna be a huge relief to our food trucks and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. We're constantly blowing fuses and running lead cords. It's
yeah,
festival of lights is gonna be in bliss. after
Oh,
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I totally. So, speaking of Festival of Lights, I forgot to mention, we had one of our things was stolen. One of our props was stolen from our exhibit. I should have emailed you. I think.
From where?
The,
I
don't
haven't
know,
city rollers probably.
the Hill City Rollers display, yeah.
The big roller
Is
skates.
that something I mentioned here or?
No.
No, sorry, okay.
Where was it stolen from?
The Festival of Lights,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but
Does Carol know that? Did you report?
I didn't. I kind of had a brain fart, and it just reminded me when you just mentioned it. So I will talk to Carol about that, but it's a little sad, but that's all right. So these are all gonna be out of the, how far do we stick up out of the ground? I'm just.
I didn't bring the details, but I think they're about 3 feet out of the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The only thing in the park that I'm taller than, so.
Oh, it says 1 through 8 are existing.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so.
Those
that's
lighter
the
ones were put
south.
in.
Okay, and so do any existing like facilities or trees, is anything impacted?
We did not have to remove any trees or any other facilities,
Good,
so we worked around that.
And then just another, just because I've had to do big safety in New York. So those dotted lines, are those power? Is that how? Is
Those
that-
dotted lines will be underground conduits with electric power going through them,
Okay.
wires.
That's why we insist that everybody use dig safely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because there is so much power in that area.
The only thing that will be seen on at grade will be those posts with the outlets on them.
Okay. Okay. I know we talked about it safety more before here, I think. Once or twice. Okay.
So that's that project. The other project that we're currently working on is the Greenway Trail. We're looking to pave the Greenway Trail. Looking to start from Burtis Warren Drive up here. And then going along the mill race. And then we have added some alternates here to the difference in color. We got the orange here. Then we get up to James Jorgensen Avenue. We have the blue line. It's already existing, the pavement's already there, but we're having a bid alternate for overlaying that existing surface to see if we get a good price. If it's a good price, we have a budget to do it, we may consider overlaying that and making it a little nicer. And then the other orange part here is at the end of this little trail here. It will continue pavement underneath Lettuce Highway and then cutting across the park here.
Following the bike path, the New Island bike path,
Yeah.
bike hike path.
We do have a few trees that we have to remove. Some are, I would say the majority of them are dead or dying.
In their demise, most of them.
Yeah, so they really should come down. There is also an area here, it's kind of brushy. We're gonna kind of clear that up, fix that up and move the trail a little bit further away from the fence here on the back side of Damascus Field. But other than that, we shouldn't be touching too much vegetation. The plan is to have our drawings finalized by the end of this month, specifications by the end of this month, and hopefully going to bid by the end of this month. So construction would be sometime end of May, June-ish. Any questions on this project?
How wide will the
So sure, we are looking to do a 6-foot wide path from the beginning here on Burgess Lauren Drive all the way over to James Jorgensen. And then this trail will continue as existing as 6 foot wide. The tie-in here under Lettuce Highway will be 6 foot wide, but once we cross the road, the plan is on David Brenner Road, the plan is to go to 8 foot wide, because we're talking about wanting to plow that. So we'll need it wide enough to be able to get a vehicle down through there.
So that goes all the way down, it follows the fence line, and then at that point, there's a gate of some sort. Is that gate, I haven't noticed, and I haven't looked lately, but I had noticed in the past, I don't remember when, but it seemed like it was open and off.
Yes.
Was right?
It was. So we talked about it and we decided to leave the gate open. We actually, we found the gate laying along the fence when we were doing this layout here. And we had the guys, at least I asked them to, I haven't noticed if it's been removed, but we asked the guys to pick it up and store it down at the park building.
Okay, so that will be all.
That should always be open, yeah. Yeah, I think it's the plan,
The
right?
problem with that gate was that it was always left open, and then the wind would catch it, or perhaps someone else helped it, you know, to kind of just swing on it, and so it was always a problem. So we decided to just leave it open.
So then, once you leave Mueller Park, I don't recall, are there sidewalks there?
So there is a sidewalk that goes under 88 here. And then if you look in the drawing, you can kind of see the crosswalk there on the ramp.
Yes.
There is an existing crosswalk there. And actually, the existing path does come out through that area. We do need to get a permit from DOT to put in the trail in that section because it's all in their right of way. And they are requesting that we put in a detectable strip for crossing. So we'll have to do that as well. That is being bid as an alternate. So if we have enough money, we'll do that. If we don't, it'll be a decision we'll have to make. Another alternate I didn't mention before is we were looking at, add to alternate number 1, looking at putting wood post guide rail along the part that's along the mill race here in this section.
Oh, yeah. The Greenway Committee is very excited about this project.
Oh, yeah.
This is a nice addition. They'll be even more excited when we figure out a way to access the highway without I don't know how that will happen exactly. We've talked about a lot of things, over the traffic, stopping the traffic, there's lots of different ideas, but all of them will be very costly. Unfortunately, the highway has separated us from New Island. So many people don't get a chance to enjoy it because it's not accessible for them. But this will help, I think.
Yeah, and there's no parking there either.
What was
No,
that?
Yeah, well, there's
New
no parking
Island.
down by the top of New Island. So you sort of have to park up here and walk down. It's a little bit like.
This is exciting stuff.
any questions in relation to the design? Other work that we're looking to do in Newa, we're looking to do some drainage work in the dog park. We have some drainage issues in both the small park and the large park area. Have they started yet?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay,
I don't think so.
I think they had a water main break they were working on today, so,
A lot of things went wrong over the weekends.
yeah. So we'll be working on that here this month, doing the drainage work, probably, I think we talked about 2 weeks
Yeah,
to do that.
yeah.
So the park will be closed down during that time period, but we'll, address the drainage issues that we have, hopefully. Also, Arcadis, who oversees anytime we dig here, we have to contact, NICEAG because of the, previous contamination that was removed. And Arcadis is their representative, which is a consulting engineering firm. So anytime we dig here, we have to coordinate with them. There are some wells throughout this area that they have monitoring wells that they check periodically. They take samples and check. And there's one inside the dog park that,
In the large dog park section is quite the tripping hazard. I'm really afraid a dog's gonna get hurt on it, but it's gonna be taken care of.
so they're gonna come in and they're gonna work on that and improve it.
Make it completely flush.
Is there anything that you wanted me to touch base on all this here?
I can't think of anything. Anybody have any questions on projects? Chris is like the best resource. So,
I'm like deer in the headlight where I get nothing.
That's okay.
Maybe next week I'll have a question, I don't know, but so far, it all seems pretty straightforward and online, the stuff we've talked about. Brett has a question.
Yeah, I've got a question. Mark Davies for a while was talking about doing something with the skate park. Remember that?
Are you talking about the pump track?
it's a pump track for biking. Yeah.
Was for, yeah,
I don't know.
BMX
He's still talking about it. I mean,
Okay.
I think Greg is maybe designing something, or maybe he's designing something for, I can't remember, but they're talking about it. I don't think there's.
I
anything
am
set.
aware, John and I talked about that there are improvements needed to the skate park because of spalling concrete, metal pieces coming out, and it needs repair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we
Yeah, there's no
actually talk
question
about
about
that a little bit as a group?
I have like
Because
pictures of it, and it's
I
like, it's unrideable
Yeah,
for the most part.
can we actually talk about that for a little bit? I don't know how like in-depth that conversation can get, but we're talking about ARPA spending tomorrow at council, and the improvements to the skate park is on there. So just like some idea of what that could entail would probably help me advocate for funding for that.
okay. I don't know.
Okay.
That
I'm
was-
sorry.
That was supposed to be done this year.
The
Is
skate
it in the
park?
budget?
Skate park, I think it's on the priorities, unless it got pushed to 2023. I
Yeah.
think it was due to be done this year, but I'll have to check with Greg to be sure.
I'd have to check with Greg as well.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with
I
it.
don't know if we funded that.
On the pamphlet that a couple months ago, it said 2023, I believe.
Okay, well, I might be wrong about the 2022, it might be 2023, but I think it's something that we have to look at to budget for 2023 this
Right.
year.
Right.
You're right. I'll ask Greg about that.
Okay.
Or we can ask Greg about that.
Do you want me to touch base on Damascus Field and what the building?
Sure.
So I don't know if anyone knows, but there was some significant damage to the building, the concession stand part of the Maskey Field this weekend. A water pipe burst, and we don't know how long it ran, but it completely flooded the concession stand area where the deep fryers are. And the deep fryers had oil in them still, and oil floats on top of water, so it all came out on the floor, and the oil went all over the floor. I guess they had a sip and taste or something, wine tasting or something. That's why there was still oil in it from, I guess, something happened late March.
Yes.
But anyways, we have significant damage. Water went into the office next door to the concessions. We're looking at having to take out all the cabinetry. The ceiling, the drop ceiling and the insulation all got soaked, and they all fell through. It's a pretty significant mess. The carpet will have to be replaced in the office. The sheetrock will have to be taken down because it's completely saturated with water and grease. And if we don't remove it, mold will come. So we've already met with Eastman there this morning. They're working on quotes, and we'll know better kind of what pricing we're looking at Wednesday, I think is what they're planning on giving me the quote. So just thought everyone should know about that. One of our workers was going by Saturday and saw water pouring out of the eaves on the siding because it was in the roof, the piping's in the roof. Saw the water cascading down the siding.
What would happen if we hadn't spotted that? I had no idea.
Yeah. So they went in, they turned the water off, turned the electricity off, and
Oh, wow.
Well, thank God that person was there.
yeah. Anything else you want to touch base on?
Anything else? Anybody have any questions on anything?
Actually, yeah, while you're here. So field 6, the infield.
Yes.
So can you talk to me about the work that needs to be done and any thoughts you guys have on?
So the last time I understand the field was worked on was about 20 years ago.
20 years.
And what happens is, after, the use of the field and the dragging of the sand and mowing and clippings and the such, the edges between the sand and the grass create lips. And these lips are significant, and they become tripping hazards for the players that play on the field. And basically, if you look at it, you have lips all the way around the infield. So both sides of the infield, the side toward the outfield and the side toward the pitching mound, what they want to do is take out 4 feet all the way around everything and replace it with sod. And then also the pitcher mound needs to be rebuilt. The estimate we received from
Clark, yeah.
was about $40,000, if I recall correctly. We are searching for other quotes.
Okay.
But I haven't received them yet.
Is that field being requested use by Cooperstown Baseball World?
Cooperstown Baseball World and other Stockton Baseball are our two biggest users.
Yes. Okay.
And, we did look at the revenue that they bring in. I did a little, if they were the only 2 organizations on that field in about 7 years of just their revenue, this project would pay for itself. Because they make a significant use of that field. That field is rented for $150 every 4 hours. So if you play 3 games on that field in a day, you're paying $450. Now, we do have a discounted rate for somebody who's choosing, like Leatherstocking Baseball, 18 dates. Cooperstown Baseball World uses more than that. They get $100 every 4 hours. So they get a little bit of a discounted rate because they're using it so much. We did away with our youth rates on field 6. Everybody will pay the same on field 6 this year. Used to be a youth could play on that field for $25 for 4 hours, which was significant. But we in our new fee structure this year, field 6 is the only field that we didn't give discounted rates to youth.
So given that project, would that be done in time for these 2 organizations to be able to
Depends on
access
how,
it?
it depends on how fast we can get.
The issue's funding right now.
Yeah.
So we're
So at this point, would they still?
I think we would just have to make the best, if we don't do it, we have to
We
make the
just
best
have
of it.
to do enough maintenance to hopefully get by. I mean, it wouldn't be ideal. But, I'd hate to call Cooperstown Baseball World and tell them they couldn't play here. Because they've already reserved the field.
This is something that has to be done every, about 15 to 20 years. You have to
Field 6 is overdue. We've been requesting and being, you know.
And it has been almost 20 years since.
Yeah.
20
work done.
We figured about 20 years since.
Yeah,
it's been.
it probably was because that was the beginning of CBW.
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
Yep.
Maybe this
Because
might
I
be the
think she's,
22nd,
I think
but-
she said her second year they built that
Yes.
field.
Okay.
And we have a very similar cost because I believe we did Damascus last year, correct?
Yes.
For the same, I think Damascus was 40,000. I think they quoted us this year 43,000.
Now, I thought Demoski was more than that, but I can't remember for sure. It doesn't matter. Demoski's bigger, so it would make sense it would be more.
And the cost of everything is up this year anyway, so.
Okay. So when people call you and say that we haven't put the garbage cans out, or we haven't set the swings up, or we haven't done, please understand that there's like a million things going on right now.
Okay, okay. Okay. Any other questions for
Chris, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
This is great. So now you can associate Chris's face. Listening to this all.
An email away.
Yes.
I did bring a full set of drawings for the Greenway Trail. I'll leave it here.
Okay.
If you guys want, take a look. Stick around.
Thanks, Chris.
Welcome.
We have Chris Shields.
Yep.
No,
Nope.
no. Oh, we have, of course, Kevin.
Kevin.
Yes,
I know you.
yes, I know. I am deeply wounded, Beth. Deeply wounded.
You couldn't tell with the mask. right?
It's true. It's the mask.
Right.
And I'm not, she normally doesn't see me here, so that's all. That's all.
We're so out of context.
I understand.
His wife's one of my.
Yeah. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm very excited about all the things that you're speaking of. I almost forgot while I was here. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Completely forgot what I was doing here.
Louder for the people on the internet.
This is great. So thank you for all the work you're doing. As a resident of Oleana, I appreciate it.
Welcome.
So the reason I'm here is to actually have a dialogue with you wonderful people, because what I'm trying to do is, this crisis in the Ukraine is clearly a humanitarian issue that troubles everybody. So I was thinking to myself, what the heck can we do to help these folks? And so my concept is to have a fundraiser where the profits would go to Doctors Without Borders. And I choose that specifically because whether the conflict is in full swing or the conflict is ebbing, Doctors Without Borders is still in there performing surgery, training their doctors on how to deal with these injuries that they have not seen before. So currently they are instructing surgeons via telehealth on how to care for these wounded people that they have no trauma experience, but they're getting it from Doctors Without Borders. Not only that, they're providing tons of medical equipment that's necessary and supplies that are necessary. So we choose that not only because I'm in the healthcare field, so it hits close to home, but because this is an ongoing need. It's just not a need for while the unfortunate situation is at its highest ebb, this is going to be necessary for the next, hopefully only the next year. But so that is the charity we'd like to incorporate. So my concept is to have a music festival in beautiful Neola Park in order to raise money for Doctors Without Borders, specifically for the aid in the Ukraine. Now, I was hoping to have sort of an all-day thing, kind of akin to what we do here on 4th of July, where there's 3 or 4 bands and there's vendors. I was going to invite, there's a Ukrainian church in Utica and in Binghamton to come. Maybe they would like to speak about it. Maybe they would like to sell Ukrainian food. Maybe they would like to have, participate somehow to give a personal touch to the event. I would like to involve both of the local colleges, the high school, because I know that they have clubs and organizations that would at least volunteer to do some of the work to make this happen. Local businesses, there's many obviously locally owned businesses that I'm going to attempt to get fundraising from. because there's, some costs associated with it. And I would like all of the proceeds to go directly to the charity and not for the operation cost at all. So as far as operation costs, all I can think of is obviously whatever it costs to rent the park. There's got to be porta potties. There has to be some kind of security. And I didn't know from you, you guys tell me what that involves. Because, owning on a police department, do I have to pay them to be there? Is it something that you guys set up? These are my questions for you folks.
Well, I have a couple for you.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah.
First of all, what is your organization? Who is your organization?
Oh, I don't really have an organization.
Well, that's gonna be your first stumbling block, because I cannot rent facilities in our park to an individual.
Okay, then I need to make an organization.
I have to have an organization of some sort, or
Okay.
you could get one of these churches, you could
Yeah.
get, I mean, there's lots of
Sure,
ideas out
sure.
there. Maybe a business, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe the Chamber of Commerce,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing.
Okay, so that's the first thing, is it needs to be done to an
Because you need
organization.
to have a business, because we'll need a certificate of insurance to have
Right.
your event in the park.
Okay,
And so that's the first thing
sure,
that you need to do.
good, that's good information.
And there's all kinds of, I have a million questions.
Okay.
How would it be an open concert, anybody could come,
Well,
to raise the funds?
See, in the park, it's difficult to control traffic in and out. You
Yeah,
couldn't. So
yeah,
therefore, it would have to be on the honor system where people would have to donate. So you do it to sort of spur people to donate, because otherwise you couldn't sell tickets and control the traffic in and out, it would be impossible. So what you would do is raise awareness, and hopefully people would be moved to donate.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only,
I think
feasible way.
it's a very worthwhile thing. Please don't think that I don't think that.
no, I think these questions are how you arrive at a better way to do this.
Yeah, I'm guessing that you're going to get your bands to volunteer.
Absolutely, the sound equipment and the bands would all be volunteer.
Okay.
So that part of it isn't a problem so far.
Well, we have a $50 application fee for the parks,
Yeah.
which is not a big deal.
Right,
There would be a fee for use of the bandstand stage, and that's done through the city clerk's office.
Right.
Carrie is here. She would be your best friend, because most of what you would need, I'm guessing that you might consider putting up some kind of banner on Main Street.
Absolutely, yeah.
To advertise that event.
Mhm.
You have to do the banner application through Carrie's
Okay.
office as well.
all right,
I don't know if you're going to want to rent any of the pavilions. You're probably gonna need some kind of indoor space.
I would think so, yeah.
The pavilions are also a separate
Okay.
thing rented through Carrie's office.
Fantastic.
We would have to find a date that would be available.
Right,
If you were in the planning stages, I would guess that it's not likely this is gonna happen this summer.
Oh.
Maybe, what's your date that you have in
I
mind?
was thinking August, I was thinking middle of August. But I don't want to conflict with things that you currently have going on.
Well, we have a lot of things going on.
That's right, you do, so,
We have 2 big events in August.
okay, all right, so,
That's, we can look at dates.
Sure.
It's not an impossibility.
right,
And as we get into the fall,
yeah,
we can't use Saturdays because soccer has use of the park on Saturdays.
sure.
Sundays could be an option. Sundays aren't the perfect day
Right.
for.
I think you get less folks, less turnout, unfortunately.
Yeah,
And as we move further away, I think there's less interest, less public interest, and so you have less ability to stimulate conversation.
Right.
But you tell me what's available and we'll see if we can
well,
pull it
we'll
off.
have to look at dates.
Sounds great.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to talk to you before,
Yeah.
so we could have some dates, but we can look at that.
Okay, sounds good. You let me, you tell me what's available and we'll figure it out.
We'll look at August.
Okay.
There's only one Saturday left in August,
Ruh-roh. What's that Saturday?
20th.
Okay,
What,
20th, August 20th.
Okay, it's the only one left right now.
you looking at rec desk?
Yeah.
You're wonderful.
She's really great.
She is really great.
Yeah.
And not just because we share the same name.
That's something.
So I didn't know what was possible. So one of the reasons for coming here and starting this dialogue is, what is possible? I mean, it's clearly possible to pull this together. If I can pull it all together, which I'm pretty sure I can. You know, that's okay with the city to do such a thing.
Well, what we need is to have this group decide if they want to support it, and then they'd have to do a motion and to support it.
Sure.
And I think before it goes to council, if I know Greg, and he's our city administrator, Greg Mattice correctly, it's gonna be like the other big event that we had new this year. We're gonna have to sit down with police and fire and city administrator and public works and myself. And all of us are gonna have to meet and make sure that all of our bases are covered.
That sounds like a great idea.
And when all of that is said and done, then it will go to council.
Okay.
To see what their follow-up questions and what kind of support they would have for it.
Sounds great. So how do I schedule that meeting?
Do you have a committee set up already? People that you're gonna be working with? to get this thing going?
I mean, I have people who have already volunteered to help me
Okay.
do this, yeah.
Let's see, do we at this point? So we probably should wait till the next meeting to approve the usage in order for all the ducks in a row to get lined up, right? Or do we approve usage at preemptive approval? That's what, is that what?
I think if you waited till May, you'd be all right. I think we could still pull something off for August. I think if you have more ducks in a row,
Yeah.
so that you can give them more information, a little bit easier for them to say they support it.
Sure,
I mean, the idea, I'm sure they all support it,
Yeah.
but they need to hear and have more information.
It's just logistics on this type of event.
Mhm.
Yeah, so.
Well, I wasn't, before I started reaching out to too many people, I wanted to make sure that this wasn't a, you know, that it could actually be accomplished
Yeah,
before I
it's
started
not
involving a million
no.
people. Okay, all right, sounds good.
I don't know, I mean, maybe owning out to the concert association would be, they might just know how to do it right away.
Should they may well. Okay,
Already,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
well, because then you have the organizational backing with the insurance that comes with it. And
right.
So they might be your organization.
Right, well, organization is not a problem, really, if necessary. I'm the CEO of First Community Care of Bassett, so if worst comes to worst, Bassett Healthcare can do it, you know, so, you know, because I've already reached out to the CEO of Bassett Healthcare and said, hey, I'm gonna do this thing, what do you think? And he said, well, let me know what you want to do. So if we need an organization,
yeah, I think
I've got
that's
one.
step number one,
Yeah.
but
yeah, I wasn't aware that I couldn't just as a private citizen say, hey, I'm gonna do this thing and I'll pay for the insurance myself. But if I need an organization, I think I can provide one.
Okay.
Fairly easily.
I didn't know that either. I learned that today.
Yeah,
Great.
I think the biggest obstacle is going to be how you control the kind of crowds you're going to get in the park.
Right,
Because in the past, we've had some problems with that.
yeah. So what do they do on 4th of July to do that?
Well, they control a lot of the crowd with COVID, in the midst of COVID, they did it, so.
Yeah.
You know, they've been an established, I mean, they've done it for years and years and years.
Right,
They
sure.
have an established group and a strong organization, they
Right.
have a committee.
Yeah.
So, and Carol Mandigo is her own.
Oh, Carol,
Yeah,
let me reach out to Carol.
she would be a good resource.
Yeah, okay, I know Carol. Yeah, no problem. Okay, great.
If anybody can pull it off, Carol.
All right, let me get her involved.
She's amazing.
Sounds great. That's great.
She's trying to get out of these things, so I'm not sure she'll be happy.
That's okay. I think she'll do it
She's
for this.
looking for retirement.
Oh. Sounds great.
So.
Yeah, that's a great advice. Thank you.
Okay, so you get your ducks in a row and then we'll do our next step.
Perfect. I just needed to know, like, there were so many things I didn't know that this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for providing me a framework to take the next step forward.
I think what we should try to do, Kevin, is, I'm gonna talk to Greg and
Mhm.
see what he advises. I'm wondering if we should have, and this is just me wondering.
Yeah.
If we should have a meeting before it comes back to the commission, so that we have everything established because you're gonna need time to advertise this event.
Right,
And if we wait till May for them to approve, and then we have the meeting, and then it
Right.
has to go to council.
there's gonna be no
we're
time,
Looking at June,
yeah,
and
Yep.
that could be a problem for you. We certainly don't wanna hold you up
Right.
from being able to
Yeah.
get word out.
right.
So, but let me talk to Greg. And Kevin, do you have a cell phone number?
I do, it's 607-434-0027.
0027.
27.
Okay.
And if you lose that, just call in, because apparently I know him.
Yeah. That's this Katie, so.
Thanks.
Are there any other specific questions that I can try to answer right now? No,
No.
Okay. all right, this is gonna be great. We're gonna do some good for some people. Wonderful. Thank you for your time, and barring this, thank you for everything else you guys did. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Kevin,
Be well. Yes.
let me give you my card so you have my
That's
cell number.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Thanks for
You guys have a good night.
Now, approval of minutes from last meeting, right? Anybody have any questions about them or anything? Anybody want to?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, 3/21/2022 Parks Recreation Commission meeting.
Seconded.
And then do you want to do correspondence or your report, Lou, next?
I just wanted to,
Oh, sorry. You gotta vote on your minute, sorry. Oh, you're right, just doing, okay, opposition? Opposition, approval?
Yes.
Yes, yes, all right, minutes are approved. Part left, right, so, okay, all right, then, Lou?
did any of you have correspondence from anyone?
Not this one, no.
Okay.
Oh, so I did, but it was about the skate parks, so, sorry, it was a text message from David. So, what was it? Shoot, it was, and I said, oh, we have a meeting next week, and sorry, I'm. This, can't find my phone. It'll have to wait. I'm sorry. But you wouldn't happen to have any idea what David was asking.
Probably just asking when it's gonna be fixed.
Right, okay, yeah.
It's just progressively gotten worse, like the cracks are like now more than just a crack, it's like
Yeah,
holes.
yeah,
And all of the concrete is shifting. So it's,
yeah. Definitely,
it's falling apart.
yeah. Okay. Then I guess that's it for me on additional correspondence. Sorry about that.
Anybody else have any correspondence? Okay, I wanted to follow up. We had a lot of questions about why Chris Shields was asking, the Grand and Glorious garage sale person was asking to go to Neowell Park. I found a way in my email, and I gave it to you, of asking him without asking him. And he basically said that Neowell Park, they wanted wide open spaces, especially being still COVID around. And a lot of their personnel are retiring. He thought this was a good time to transition. They talked about Neowell in the past, and that's the reason, had nothing whatsoever to do with being unhappy with Main Street, which I think was all refreshing for all of us to hear. So, so I wanted you to know that. So he's gonna move forward with the application process, and they have a date in September to come to the park. So I also got a text just today from Nancy O'Hara, and Nancy is ancestor to Ethel Scatcherd, the memorial in Neowa Park dedicated to nursing. She's asking about rehabilitation to that statue. We had that on the docket pre-COVID, and I think we had some masonry work done there, but I honestly don't know where it is. And since I just got it today, I haven't had time to get to that. I told her I would find out for her, and I'll let you all know at our next meeting. It is not fully repaired, I do know that. So I'm not sure where that project is. Do you know anything about that, Chris? I don't think so. I think, I'm not surprised. I think it's just something that kind of got put on hold, so I'll have to check into that. And I will get back to you.
What's the name of it again, just so the
What?
part, what memorial again?
Ethel Scatcherd Memorial.
You spell that last name?
Ethel and Scatcherd, SCATCHARD. SCATCHARD, Scatchard Memorial.
Where is it located?
It's it's as you enter Neowa Park from the River Street end of town. Enter there, it's that first little memorial in the circular area there. It used to be a fountain and everything. We are not restoring the fountain, I know that, but there is some work that needs to be done there.
In this area, is it?
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about all the work we have to do in the parks, if I can be really blunt, I don't know that the city at this time and for the foreseeable future would be able to.
Well, I think that that's fair. I think you're right.
I mean, I don't speak for everybody, but
Yeah.
I just
I think-
know the cell, right?
I think two things. One, I think it's unfortunate because we did have it on the docket and we did have we at least had a mason come and evaluate it. I'm not sure what was done. And the family knew that we were doing that. So it's kind of like, now we're saying we're gonna look at it, but now we're not. So, but I think you're right. There's a lot of things that need to be done. I'm kind of hoping that maybe the family will help us a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's some options, right?
That's something, if we can get some quotes, maybe we can say, you know, we can afford to do this part, if you guys could contribute or find ways to help us do the rest. I think that there's ways to do it,
Yeah,
so,
agreed,
you know, so.
other than
but
just straight out. Yeah.
Without flat out saying we can't do it,
Mhm.
because I agree, Katie, there's so many things that need right now. So,
Yeah.
and you would know as well as I do, so. So that's the correspondence that I've had in our short time away from one another, each other here. Do you want me to do my report or okay. You've all read this, Chris already talked a little bit about the dog park. I did talk to the mayor just recently. We had a little conversation with the mayor. He spends a lot of time at the dog park. Got a lot of people asking him when the large dog park is going to reopen. We have this work that needs to be done. I think realistically, knowing that we've got about 2 weeks of work on our own, then we have Arcadis coming in there on the 21st of April. They're going to be there all day doing their project. I think it's fair to say that we're not going to be able to open the large dog park until May 1st. That's kind of what we're looking at. Hopefully, everything will be done by then. Hopefully, we will have resolved all the water moisture problems and everything. And I suspect what will happen, just guessing, we will open the large dog park to all dogs and have to close the small dog park to do what needs to be done in there. Definitely we'll have to do some reseeding because the grass is in rough shape, which we knew from the winter of having all the dogs there. So as soon as I can get my head above water with everything else we're doing right now, I'm gonna work with Carrie on a PSA that we can get out on Facebook to let people know, please bear with us. We're trying to get this work done. We hope to open the large dog park by May 1st. Or the first part of May. I don't know that I'll say May 1st because then something else will happen and we can't do it. But hopefully the first week of May. Is that fair?
Sure. Well, it's like we can only do what we can do, and if we gotta get things fixed, I gotta get fixed.
Yeah.
Longevity of the park, yeah.
And Chris already touched upon Field 6. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. I've already told, I have not received an application from Loverstock and Baseball. I've talked with him on the phone 3 times. He said he's gonna get his application in, but the deadline for summer was last Friday. I don't have it yet. I'm sure he'll get it to me, and I've already told him that if we do this project, that we may be doing a project at Field 6, and if we do it, he may not be able to have all his dates in June. Fortunately, Cooperstown Baseball World doesn't come in until July, so we have a little bit more leeway there. But, you know, realistically, I just don't know that we're gonna be able to get quotes in and find money to do that project right now. I just don't know if we're going to. That's my feeling. I would love to say we're doing it. I think we should be, but, you know, we can only do what we can only do. So, I don't have a lot more to report. I gave you, the month of April, that I have right now. And that's everything that's in the park, already scheduled. Most of it's tennis, tennis, and tennis. Softball does not start till, thankfully, does not start till June. I did have a request for possible use of Field 4 by Oneonta High School. Jerry Mackey called me, but he hasn't given me dates yet. He's had some other options, so I don't know if that would happen. I told him I could only give him Field 4 with some advance notice because we haven't had a chance to do anything to that field yet. So.
Anything else? Any questions for anybody? Any other business? Old business? I guess the Wilber Park survey, we have its last week.
We are tonight at 11:59, is the official end of the 7 weeks. We're at about 382 responses as of 5 o'clock tonight. Just over 60% of them are city respondents. We've got about 19% from the town and 16% that identified as other. Just to recap, upper level requests, our top 3 this time are the additional pavilion restroom, a volleyball court, and disc golf. The 3 favorites of lower level include the stone dust paths, an additional pavilion restroom, and the tennis hitting wall. So at your May meeting, I'll have the entire survey and the responses available for everyone to review.
Cool. Nice. Yeah. So one last push for surveys, everybody. You can get home for like 3 hours.
All of your friends, family and neighbors.
And I think 382 last survey they did.
That what?
I think we had more responses to our survey than they did in the previous Wilber Park survey.
It's 2 weeks.
It wasn't just Wilber Park, it was everyone.
Hmm.
It was all the parks, so. That survey was done, I think 2012. but I'm
So
not
12,
sure.
13, it's somewhere in that area.
Yeah, but we didn't think we'd get near what they got, and we did good.
All right, so good job, everybody. Okay. Nothing-
And I think, you know, Carrie, I think, said this at the last meeting. Yeah, Carrie's wonderful. But I was thinking, Destination Oneonta deserves a lot of the credit because they really got it out there to everyone. So I've already told Katrina we owe her, so.
Use their budget to help push the survey.
Thanks.
So our work, I guess, begins next month when we look at those survey results and make some sort of decision on what way we're going to go with things. Carrie, did you have any feedback on lighting?
Typically, the response, I've honestly only skimmed the responses. I haven't read every single one. Overall, they feel the lighting is adequate.
Yeah, it does seem, but I did think there were a couple that were specific spots.
Yeah,
that-
but other than Penrose, maybe.
Yeah.
We've had the typical people that say the lighting's terrible. Some people want the paths and the bike trails lit up. I don't know why you'd be out at night anyway, some people don't want lighting at all because they're afraid it'll shine in their homes, right? That Chris got cornered by a lady.
I was down there looking to sight new poles and I had someone question me about
Yeah.
what we were doing.
Yeah, she
As
just.
they were looking to put new poles in and she was concerned about the lighting at her house and I reassure her that we can dim them if they're too bright. We do have control of the lights here. So I just told her to reach out to me.
And that was one gentleman that mentioned that he wanted more lighting. I think he came to, not our last meeting, but the meeting before that, and I can't remember his name. But that's it. And he was very concerned that there was not enough lighting all the way up through Wilber Park, all the way up. I guess he lives in Wilber Park Apartments. So, and I think we have to be very careful about the kind of lighting we put there because of the neighbors.
Well, and it's also closed at night.
I'm sorry,
The park is closed at night.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
pass that on, will you? I mean.
All right,
Yeah.
10 o'clock. Lights out.
Good job. Good point. Good point.
Is it sunrise to sunset or is it a specific time? Does sunrise to sunset or is it a specific time?
Well, it's supposed to be 7 to 10:30.
Okay.
I think 10:30 is even late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even mind looking at that today and making it a little bit earlier. But that's just me. We can talk about that when we do our Wilber Parks and the.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about it.
I do want to just bring up something about Wilber Park, the upper level. I've obviously, come through that quite often, and I had actually strangers mentioning, and a few of the people that we know about the downed trees in the upper level.
Yeah.
We're aware of them. We're just going to get to them.
Okay.
We're going to get to them.
Okay.
And there's also two trains of thought with downed trees. And I will tell you that I've heard this too. Is a lot of times it's good to leave down trees down because that vegetation disintegrating into the ground can help the other trees, can give strength to the other. I'm not a botanist, my son is, I'm not a botanist, but I have heard that train of thought too.
The main thing is they're not blocking any trails, are they?
No, I don't believe so. I haven't been up on the trails, no.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
Right.
We had a couple trees that were overhanging, but I reported them, they're being taken care of.
Okay.
I think the windstorm that we had not too long ago brought some of them down. And they are huge trees, but they are
Okay.
a problem, so.
So typically when a tree is removed, it's not automatically chipped.
They did a bunch of tree removals in Lower Wilbur last year, correct?
Yes.
And there's no remnants of them. They took them out and chipped them and, yeah. Yeah.
So is that the distinction, right? Like trees that we take down versus trees that fall naturally or more inclined to be those. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what.
I think if it's outside of like the normal use of the park, like if it's like, a wooded area
Yeah.
that's not, mowed or utilized other than viewing, we typically don't.
Or tree planting.
Hiking.
Yeah, we typically don't
Yeah.
remove that
Right,
kind
yeah,
of tree.
exactly.
Wilbur is our more rustic park,
Yeah.
so,
Yes,
it's
it
kind of
is.
nice to have some of that.
Totally.
No, it's cheaper to let it lie and rot.
Yeah. Well, and it's more interesting, like
Yeah.
what we're saying too, like part of why I like Wilber is because it's kind of a controlled area where like I can let my toddler go look for frogs and bugs and random stuff, so.
And all we need is a lot of trees, a lot of trucks and a lot of chainsaws and all of that
Right.
stuff, a lot of chippers going before people are going to be unhappy about that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's more of a natural setting too, you know, in the woods, you
Oh,
get
yes,
moss
it
on
is.
them and mushrooms
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that kind of
Growing
thing.
up there.
it helps with fairyland.
Yeah.
I love
It's just,
fairyland.
yeah.
But if there are specific trees you want, the group here wants removed, you know, let us know.
I'm like, whatever the arborist says, it's fine with me.
Typically go with Fred's recommendation, so.
So,
I think something that we should consider when we're, just popped into my head, when we're looking at what we want to advocate for in our Wilber Park plan, I think we should take a walk as a group through Wilber Park and look at some things and, you know, I don't necessarily think it should be our meeting, although it could be.
I'm in.
I think,
yeah,
I think we should,
write that down.
you know,
Commission field trip.
and make some observations as a group.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've all been there, but I think, you know, going together is kind of, and it's fun too.
We'll bounce ideas off of one another and.
I actually don't work Saturdays now, so I'm Saturday morning.
Nice.
It's free, so.
I don't either, Beth.
Nice. So you don't want to work on Saturday? Yeah, what about Friday? I can go Friday too. All right, so we'll pick it. Any other dates that are available, days of the week that are remote for anybody? No? Okay. All right, well, should we discuss that in email? Pick a date for that? All right, sounds good to me. Okay.
Can it be a warm day?
Sure.
Okay.
Check the weather app.
Cool.
And then pick it for the next day. So, okay, any other business tonight?
We have some other old
Oh,
business.
yes, please, yeah.
One thing that we need to, that we had at last meeting that we were going to vote on was the Shakespearean Apartment. And Ally called me today and asked me if that was still on the docket, and I said it was. We were going to decide if we were gonna support it as a group here. And Ally is coming to council meeting tomorrow night, I think.
Sweet. Good. And what was the date that she had requested? And we were holding off on that in order to make sure that returning users had first dibs.
Yeah, well, no one has requested those. I mean, it was last Friday, that date.
Cool.
So no one has requested those. And she is asking for,
July 29 to 31 and August weekend of
That's right.
August.
the last weekend in July and the first weekend in August.
I have no opposition to this.
Well, we have to make, if you guys are gonna support it, we have to have a motion and we have to vote.
Some. I move to, a motion to approve the use of this for the Shakespeare.
That motion.
What was it, your second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Unanimous, okay. Beautiful. I'm excited about that. That was dangerous once. Anything else need motions? Anything else?
Any other new business?
Okay.
Just one more thing that I should mention, it probably is more old business than new business, and that's the telephone in the wind. I have spoken with Bernadette again. I'm just waiting for a little confirmation from Greg, a follow-up thing from Greg, and as soon as I get that, we'll John and Chris and I will meet Bernadette in Wilber. She mentioned a place that she and Katie had looked at, and we think that that's probably the best place. It's lower level, closer to the high school than not, back in the trees a little bit. I haven't been there, but just from her description, that sounds right to you, Katie?
Yeah, just like sort of beyond the Kiwanis Pavilion.
She's decided that she's not going to do a bench right now because there is some expense to that. We're gonna do the phone to start out with, and then she'll hopefully be able to do a bench. She'd ideally like to do a phone booth. But that's not gonna be possible right now, and I'm not sure a phone booth would last there, but anyway, so that's where we are with that. We are moving forward, a little bit slow, but we're moving forward.
Yeah, thanks for your help.
Maybe a plaque to explain what it's all about.
What was that?
A plaque to explain what the telephone is about,
I don't know what she has in mind. I don't.
but
Yeah.
just included. somewhere.
I think it will.
I think there'll have to be some kind of overhang to protect people. And I think it would give a little privacy to you know, you don't want the phone along the trail in front of everybody. I mean, it's a grieving thing. Well, fair. I told her the biggest obstacle I found was to try to find a place where you have privacy, but it is accessible. Because there's lots of places where you get privacy in Wilber, but it's just aren't accessible for, you know, somebody with a physical challenge or someone older. So I think the place you picked is a good idea. So hopefully I'll have more to report next month. Hopefully we'll be a little closer to finalizing.
Okay. I'll also take a look at that too in the future. Anything else? No? Motion to adjourn?
Second.